Hold on, before you do that, I need to finish my video with me, or you, because you're a woman.
You're p***ing me out for views.
Good.
Anyways, hi guys, I'm back with my husband.
Not boyfriend.
Husband, yeah. I'm really casual. I don't really do like full intros, so we're just gonna talk. We're not gonna get into like the nitty gritty of everything, but I
wouldn't say. Oh, sorry. This is yours.
This
Let
is
me shut
mine.
up.
Yeah, this is
Shut
mine.
up, husband.
But we are gonna talk about just general topics. I feel like, what?
Nothing.
See how much he interrupts me?
Bad husband, just like a man.
We're gonna talk about general topics, things that I feel like we've learned, and just, you know, I'm gonna someday name this podcast Introspection, because I just want to talk about what we've learned and things that we've gone through. And, you know, I feel like people kind of assume relationships just work or they don't, and they don't really acknowledge the work that you have to put into it, or like new aged opinions. I feel like people are just assuming that once things get hard, like that's just not the person for you, and I obviously fully disagree with that. I mean, there's a level of what you should and should not accept, but I just kind of want to talk about a little bit of that, of our perspective and things that we've learned. So I have questions.
Shit.
Yeah, I actually wrote my vows in this. I pulled the book out for our vows.
Hi guys, I'm Milan. How rude of her. I go by Artistic. I'm a DJ. I am an entrepreneur. I have importance. You shouldn't drink on camera.
I can do what I want. I'm not monetized, so I can do whatever the
She can do what she wants.
But that's because inherently what I want is the best for both of us. So when I do what I want, it's not reckless.
Insert all.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say before I start going in on you?
I don't really know what's about to happen, so I'm cool. You know, I'm tall. You know, I'm a
super tall.
I was supposed to go to the NBA. Yeah, I'm like that. You know, I'm everything you think a man is. I'm everything why you hate a man. You know.
He likes to put that persona online, which I'm fine with because it keeps the bitches away.
Damn, is that what you? Damn. No, that's it. I'm done.
Okay. What was your first impression of me?
Damn, that can rap.
That bitch.
Wait.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yes, that was my first impression. And it was really cool because I met you at an open mic night, and I was going in there with no impressions of anything. I had my album at the time again, or my EP.
EP is fire.
And
LP?
That's
not biased.
LP? EP? LP.
EP.
Limited playlist.
I thought it was an EP. You've been saying it's an EP since
I think I said
met
LP.
you in 2024.
Whatever one the short one is. No, LP is long. So yeah, EP.
EP.
Yeah.
Because there's 8.
No, E is extended. Whatever it was.
You've been saying EP since
whatever the right terminology is, it's only 7 songs. And yeah, so no, I had dropped that, and so I was just going places, halfway promoting myself, halfway promoting the album, or the whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. And I just went to a random open mic night, and I saw her there, and
wow, what a hot, sexy
librarian.
Not the birds. I hate geese. That was actually really scary. If the phone wasn't set up perfectly, I would grab it and show you guys. Those were some fat geese. They were really close. Anyways.
Wow, prejudiced.
Fat with a P and a H.
But no, so it was really awkward because you went up there and you looked like a librarian. Like had a straight just pink
sundress.
I guess that's a sundress. It was just a pink dress.
Yeah.
To me, that's more sundress, even though that's jumper. But it's like, it was more, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't a sundress.
But no, I thought she was going to go up there and sing some type of folk
Kumbaya,
song.
My Lord, Kumbaya.
She went up there and started rapping. And it was just like a switch. I was like, you know how you turn the lights off and then you turn them on? That's exactly what it was. I was like, what the f***, you rapping all fast and shit? But yeah, it was, I didn't expect that at all.
Tech Nine and Logic and...
So yeah, when she started rapping, I was like, oh, she can actually kind of...
My cadence needed work.
A lot of work. She needed a lot of work, but it's like, you can tell when something is there. Like, I don't...
To be fair, I would find beats off of Spotify because I didn't know YouTube... Like, you need to get your beats from YouTube. So I was just finding...
Well, that's still
really
wrong.
mid.
But
Relax. If you're a SoundCloud rapper, you can get beats from YouTube. Let's relax. When local beat makers make beats that I think are fire, I've also, mind you, I've talked to some of y'all on Instagram and you never pull through, so that's not my fault. If you want me to use your beat, then make the beat. Anyways, but no, I didn't even know you can get free for profit beats off of YouTube and stuff. So I was finding random beats on Spotify that I didn't like that much, but I was like, okay, I can like fit my ideas into this, and so I feel like that played a huge part. But that's besides the point. I needed work. There was a lot of work with my cadence that I wasn't in touch with at that time. But
and mind you, like for somebody who was just kind of starting, like you
literally like 3 weeks before,
like it was like, I don't know, as somebody who's been in music for a while, it's like, not that I'm famous or anything, but it's like,
no, but you're old,
but I've been experienced with the entertainment and music for a while. It's like there is something there where it's like you can make this into something, and that's just what it was. I was like, oh, that's cool, that's very interesting. And that was really my first impression. It wasn't I didn't look at you like, oh yeah, I'm trying to just grab this thing, or like,
well, I feel like that's not necessarily your personality anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't what it was. A lot of men in industry kind of approach women that way, where it's like they'll see somebody and it's like they want to f it before they actually see it or hear it. And
which was never fun.
Can I say that? Can I do that? Okay. And it's
like,
I
edit anything, like I take the sound out of it. Yeah.
Okay. But it's like I didn't approach you on some, ooh yeah, I would f that. It was more on some, hey, this is cool music. Like that's
which I respected. Because I didn't get that energy very often. I mean, I had only been doing it, like I said, for literally 3 weeks when I saw you. That was probably like my second or third open mic. When I first went on, I thought I was going to get booed. Because I was posting stuff on TikTok and people were eating me alive.
Well, you went to the right place and I get booed.
Yes.
To be 100%.
honest. 100%. There's places, I mean, I got booed at our proposal. So, like, there's definitely people that don't like me.
People don't like my music. And I have a lot of people tell me I make radio, like, they tell me, like, hey, man, you could be on the radio.
Well, there's always going to be something about a white girl rapping that a certain demographic of people will not appreciate, which I do respect where they are coming from. I try not to take that personally because I get it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I just started rapping literally like 3 weeks prior, and I was just not expecting to meet so many people. Most of the people that play a major part in my life, like right now, I met through music. So that was a really awesome.
But yeah, that was really my first impression. Was like, oh, that's an interesting person. I didn't expect that she could rap, and it wasn't bad.
My first impression of you was like, I mean, he came up to me. I was outside with my best friend, and I was just like cheesing because I was in a very dark place during that time, and I was trying to. That's why I was doing music, is it was my outlet, not just creative outlet, but it literally was like how I was honestly like staying alive at that point. And it was completely changing my life very quickly. Like I was meeting so many different people, and I think I just met so many people that had a positive experience with me and a positive outlook on me. And I was like, wow, I just wasn't going to the right places and meeting the right people. And so he came outside and was like, yeah, I've performed in front of like 10,000 people. I've opened for big name.
Lil Dicky, Lil Boosie, Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, Riff Raff, Super Duper Kyle.
And he was like, you're pretty good. Can I get your socials? And so I just remember looking at my best friend like, because, I mean, blatantly, I don't really like men. And so I was like, just like, it felt good though. Like you didn't feel overly cocky. It just came off in a way where you're very confident, but I still tease people. So when you walked away, I looked at my best friend and I was like, I played for da-da-da. Like I just was, but yeah, obviously I liked your vibe enough to just, I showed up to his open mic and stuff. We weren't immediately like, oh, hey, let's like, that's not what our vibe was. We followed each other on Instagram, and I was trying to go meet more people, and it wasn't networking for me. I genuinely just wanted to make connections with people because I was so like starved of human connection for so long. And so this world was like so expansive, and I was like, and I was 21, so I just was having a good time. And I saw that he was posting open mics, and don't even this is a baby one. And like there was a model casting, which like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I came to that open mic for the model casting, but then when I got there I was like, never mind, because these bitches are way hotter than me. I was like, never mind. So I just
I had nothing to do with that, by the way.
I know that was Gent, right? Because he was your manager at the time.
No, it wasn't Gent. It was actually he's the one who made this shirt. It was Johnny with the London label. So he was the one, because he heard the song. He hates everybody's music, and he really liked the song "Rainy Phase."
Because it's fire. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
The beat is so good.
Also a YouTube beat, and they would not give me the exclusives to that, by the way. But yeah, no, it was his idea. We were gonna actually do a whole on project, but I don't remember what happened. Everything didn't fall through, and it just took too long.
Unfortunately, with people in music, it's really hard to get things to actuality.
Yeah,
which is something I have learned.
If you don't have all the like cash all the way up front, it's like it's kind of, we were trying to do everything quick. And that was just it. I just didn't have all the funding right away. Everything happened so fast.
I'm not gonna lie. The thing said jet ski. I didn't even care about being a model. I wanted to get on the jet ski.
Yeah, we had there was a whole theme and project written, and it just didn't pan out. So unfortunate. Yeah. I honestly should not have released a project as quick as I did. I should have trickled it.
I understand what you mean by that, but I feel like you were on a roll.
Yeah.
I feel like you just lost steam.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like you could have done. Honestly, you still could. I feel like if you wanted to choose to promote that differently and make a video, not with a bunch of but make a video, then yeah, I feel like you could do a lot with that. But
how do I make a video brand new that's on?
Just like how you proposed to me. I'm gonna take you back, little bitch. And I'm in the background like
little bitch. I'm gonna take you back, little bitch.
Yeah. But I obviously wanted public image to be like, I support you full-heartedly and I love all of your music, but at the same time when you started playing that one, I was like, why the are you playing this right now? But you explained it's because it was a sample, which I didn't know, so like I understood. But I thought you were gonna do your I don't know if it's a feature, but the one that you have pinned on your page, or it was pinned on your page, where you're rapping your ass off.
Oh yeah.
Little dick syndrome, what the anyways.
You're talking about Thorough Bone with
yeah.
Rick Rated, yeah. Because
it matched. I mean, I'm not gonna say it matched my flow, but it's high energy and it's fast. So and mine was high energy and fast. So I thought you were gonna like, because he was posing it like we were gonna out rap each other essentially. He was about to beat my ass, and then you chose that one, and I was like, intro hella long and shit.
Yeah, no, but how that I wasn't. The whole proposal thing,
I know, obviously, once I knew it was happening, I was like, okay, obviously it wasn't about the fucking music. But in the moment before, I was like, we're trying to have a rap battle right now, and you're playing that. Yeah. But now I understand.
People don't like that song. I like that song. I don't know.
I think it's because people were giving you shit online because you only got, I'm going to take you back, little bitch. Yeah. You didn't even get to the verse because Nate was like, bro, this is not what's, like, this is not... what people are here for.
Baby, I'll be the Globetrotter, Snow White as Juneau, Alaska. I got the cold product, whole lot of shit for the money. I need my colon check. Yeah. Boy got bars. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yes, you do. You're an amazing rapper and you're an amazing artist. That's why he was like, oh, she's already supportive and shit. I'm not just supportive of him because he's my man. If he sucked, I wouldn't support him.
And shouldn't.
Vice versa.
And should not.
Yeah. So, no, he's very good. But yeah, that's kind of a sidetrack. That was our first impression. I thought he was cocky, but in a way that I thought was like endearing, because a lot of men come off just like, bro, shut the fuck up. The only woman who loves you is your mom. Just save it. So but the way that I thought it was cute because I could tell you were being sincere, and like he wasn't just like, oh, I'm big dog, like I'm like, you weren't doing that. You were just saying like, hey, I have experience, I have credentials, and I'm not just saying this to you. So it actually felt super validating, because I'm like, I don't know, like a bunch of people were hyping me up and stuff, but you were like, no, I do this, I've done this for a long time, and you have talent. So to me it almost felt like a talent seeker, or like someone who's like in fucking Hollywood and like scouts and stuff like that. I don't know, that's what it felt like. I know that's not what it literally was, but that's what it felt like, and it made me feel really good. So I think it's just about the energy and the intent, and what you say, and how you say it.
By no means do I think I'm like the best artist out there. It's just I'm very confident in what I can do.
As you should.
And it's like because I put in a certain amount of work for what I have, because I was a terrible rapper. I still have songs where I absolutely fucking
It's funny because I've heard some of them and they still sound good to me, especially compared to what's around.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, take my scratching, for instance. I know I scratch better than certain people when it comes to DJing, but I know when it comes to actual scratching, I got a lot of work to do. And that's kind of what I feel about my music.
That's how I feel about rapping, but I feel like you're what I aspire to be. Like when I hear, which makes sense, right? Because it's Black culture. Like, you know what's up. So it's just, but not even just that, because there's a lot of people that rap, but like I feel excel at it. I feel like you're very, very good at it. And people were trying to get me to freestyle that night we were at Lucky Silver with Scooter and shit, and I was like, Fuck no.
I feel like
I do it in the car by myself and stuff, and there's times where I'm like, wait, I wish I was recording that, because I'll do, like, I'll say, like, I'm on a roll, but there's other times I try and I'm like, holy shit, that's so bad. Like, yeah, I need a lot of work. It's a muscle that you can exercise. Like, I'm aware of that, but even just, you were, I don't know, it was, like, super chill. I can tell that it's your craft, it's your bread and butter. You're good at it, and you've worked hard at it, so.
Yeah. I feel like people, like, how you say that, oh, it's black culture. I feel like people don't understand that no matter how much you try to emulate, it's like, if you're not involved in the culture, you're going to not have the soul. The soul is always going to be a little bit missing. Now, there are some white people who are really good, I don't want to say con artists, but whatever the right word would be.
I mean, Jack Harlow, fuck you.
Yeah, funny. But
Jack
no, like,
Harlow, Jelly Roll,
like even
fuck
somebody
you.
who's local,
Post
like
Malone, fuck you, yeah.
But like somebody like Travis Thompson, like he's a local, and his music is really good. I don't really know his background, but it's like, he has soul in his songs, but it's not like he's trying to steal anything from anybody. It's not
organic.
like he's not trying to placate anything. He's just being himself, and he does really good music.
Yeah.
And I feel like even as yourself, it's like, as a white person, do that, like,
yes, show up as yourself. Don't try to pretend
like, just
to
do
be
that.
anything.
Because like, everybody knows that you just, even if you're immersed in it, you're just not black. Like,
Facts.
you're never gonna have that. Whatever that soul is, you can't have, and that's just the bottom line. And when people accept that, you will be a better artist.
I agree
That's
with
just it.
that. And also, I mean, because actually, shout out Scooter. We just saw him at OBK, and he hosted your Say Last Sunday. Scooter's someone who, like, took me under his wing for a little bit and was sending me a lot of documentaries and was giving me a lot of sources. And I learned a lot about the culture of hip-hop from him. It was actually the year that it was the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. And it was a really big deal, and I was learning so much about it. And so I think that as I continued, I actually became such a better artist so quickly. And I think it's because seriously, thank you, Scooter. Like, because we had our first date at Brass Lantern, and you're like, oh, so what are you learning? And I just, like, went off on a tangent, because when I become fixated on something, I will not shut the fuck up. I get so excited. And he was like, you said to me, you're like, wow, I think you actually know a lot more people than, like, average people. Like, a lot of people don't even know that in my age. Like, and I was 21. So it's just like, I know a lot of information about it, but, this isn't something that I just throw around lightly, because I don't throw this around lightly because I feel like a lot of culture vulture is used as kind of ideology to excuse their, like, buffoonery, which I don't subscribe to that. However, the truth of hip hop was that the point of it was to show up 100% authentically as yourself. And the OGs were saying, it's literally on camera, they're saying, like, yes, this is black culture, but we invite people into it who are 100% themselves, because that is the point of hip-hop. And so I don't think that's something that should be taken lightly, and I think a lot of people do, and that's disrespectful. Like, there's a difference between appropriation and appreciation, but I think you need to be educated on a topic and actually understand where it comes from in order for it to even begin to be considered appreciation. And so I think that's something that I learned a lot from Scooter, was, like, just the rich history, especially in America, and then how that comes from jazz, and how that turned into the 70s, 80s funk era, and then how that turned, like, there's a whole, it's so closely tied together, and people try and pretend like that was so long ago, but it wasn't. And so when you, like, lose touch with that origin, you kind of, like, think the sound gets muddy and all that kind of stuff. And
that's kind of what it is today. Yeah. Like, that's why people today who are, like, famous don't even care about what music was. And, like, that's why I still love the 80s music. I think 80s is still my favorite. Like, obviously,
and white people were making good 80s music.
Man, white people make good music, like, but they were also showing up authentically themselves.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
But that's why I think, I mean, there's still, Eminem always is going to have a love-hate in the black culture. And I feel like that's why
I personally am team fuck Eminem.
But that's why people like Eminem, because he was always himself.
Yeah,
he was always himself.
The way Scooter explained it to me was that, like, at the time when it came to rap battles and stuff, like, you were saying anything. You were just going crazy in on whoever you were up against or whatever like that, and you were trying to say things that were like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, that was kind of the goal, and he was just saying anything. Not like he didn't have lyricism. Like, his old music has lyricism. I'm not going to pretend that he doesn't, but obviously there's a level of... Yeah, I mean, he's a violent person. He made music about killing his wife. Like, shit, like, where it's just, like, I just can't. I'm like, ugh. Hip-hop is so much more than just, I'm going to kill my wife and blah, blah, blah.
For him, it was more like, it's It's like writing in a diary for him. You know, like his
Which
music
is
was
what music should be, but at the same time, if you're a psychotic that wants to kill your wife, maybe don't like, you know, I feel like you have a responsibility if you become big in something, especially if it's not your culture. Like, you don't need to make it all about violence, especially when that's already an issue that white people are taking it and trying to turn it into that. Where it's like it's actually not that. And so I feel like he was aiding to a problem that where it's like you're not even a part. Like, why are you doing that? You could be a better representative of the culture if you're going to be white. You're kind of bridging that, especially at the time, because like they wouldn't put black people or rap on MTV and then all of a sudden that's all they would do because they weren't, you know, it wasn't pop, it wasn't radio safe, it wasn't all this stuff, it was racism straight up. And then all of a sudden they were, you know, they realized they could make money and profit off of this, of black culture. And so I feel like Eminem, he was accepted by so many people in that, and so he could have used that for good and been like a really cool bridge the gap. I mean, he doesn't have to make fucking raps about rainbow and sunshines, but at the same time, it's like, why are you choosing to present yourself that way when there's already an issue with that? I don't know.
Well, the thing to play devil's advocate on that for a couple different things is the first and foremost, he has to rap his experience. He has to rap his feelings. You know, like, and there's always going to be somebody who relates.
White men are extremely aggressive.
But it's like, I mean, regardless, it's
that's just that's a personal event.
But people have to rap, or somebody's always going to connect with something, you know. And I feel like, sidebar, like a little bit, I feel like people, the music today, people can't really connect with. It's just do drugs and party and shoot somebody, and that's why we have this weird era where it's like, what the is this music? That's a huge propaganda
of industry plants, and
right.
We're gonna make you this and that, but you have to, like with women having to overly sexualize themselves, especially black women, like that's something it's stereotypes being perpetrated or perpetuated by, you know, a white man behind the screens.
But then the other aspect of that is also like, what good was he gonna do about rapping? He can't be no bridge the gap. He's not gonna go in there, fix racism. That's not his job.
I understand that.
Especially as a white man. You're just a good rapper, and
I feel like it is your job though, as a white person. If you're gonna be accepted into spaces, you need to be an ally.
Being an ally is simply understanding. White people have no business trying to fix anything. The only thing that white people can fix is fix at home. You know, fix true. Not perpetuating the example of racism. Yeah. That's all white people need to do. It's not their business to do anything else. They don't need to defend us. They don't need to fight our battles. They don't need to do shit. All you need to do, be yourself.
I guess my perspective is like, no, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But it's like, be yourself, stay the fuck out of black people's business, and then you'll be fine. Like, black people don't, that's why a lot of black people don't like white people, because it's like, you're doing too much. Don't tell us what racism is. Don't tell us what you think racism is. You know, like, you don't need to implement any of that shit. You know, and that's kind of like, if there's ever a situation where, like, if I was ever see you ever step up, like, hey man, get back. Like, that's just not your role. Like,
yeah, I think I look at it in the sense that, like, it's the same thing as if you're a woman role model, right? Like, there's a lot of female YouTubers, and I'm talking about white YouTubers that have a huge platform and they go out and do some heinous stuff, and they're like, well, I'm not a role model, I never said I was, but you have a young audience that's watching you, whether you know it or not. And I've seen a lot of these women evolve and change and realize, like, oh, actually, I have a following, so I'm a role model, whether I like it or not. And so I feel like there's just a level of fame for anyone, no matter race or gender, where you become like, you can do so much with that. And I feel like that it's a tell to who you are intrinsically, because it's like, okay, so you have this platform and now you're choosing this message to spread. Whether that's just because you feel that way, you don't realize you're spreading that message, but that to me already gives low frequency, because you're not choosing to do something more important with it. Whereas I feel like other people get a platform and they do a lot of good with it. And so I just look at you as an individual. It's like, okay, what are you doing with your platform? And I feel like we relate on that. I mean, maybe in different ways that we kind of like analyze people and what they're doing and stuff, but I feel like we're both, that's a big reason why I was drawn to you, is you're a giving person. So it's like, even if you don't have a lot, you give freely. It's like just like a part of who you are, and I'm really attracted to that. That's a huge thing I'm attracted to you for. And so I feel like some people get famous and they're just assholes and evil people, and I feel like when you're white and an evil people and like a person, like intrinsically that comes from a background that you've had, I feel like there's always like problems with that. So for me, looking at it, especially as someone who's been abused by a white man, and statistically the white men are the ones perpetuating a lot of violence and just a lot of that kind of stuff, but they don't get the rep for it. And I'm like, I feel like that's really not fair. And so that's how I feel based off of my personal experience. But I do understand what you mean by like some people, you know, you don't really need to stick your neck in. Some conversations aren't meant for white people to join,
I mean,
so.
a lot of things geared around black is not for white people to get
Yeah.
into and interject, you know? And, you know, people hear me say things like, well, why are you with a white woman? And it's like, I don't want them to understand, like, get it fucked up where black love is beautiful. Black women are beautiful. Black women should be
100%.
protected. Black women deserve to be loved. Black women are not evil. They're not angry. And if anything, they're only angry because of the shit that they're forced to go
Facts.
through. You know, there's nothing wrong with black women whatsoever. You know, if anything, they
I would not be with a man at all that's also an interjection, is I don't stand for that shit, and I love all women, and so I would never be with a black man or a white man, never, who had that rhetoric where they hated women in general, but specifically black women, because now at that point you don't genuinely care about me. That's some sort of like insecurity that you have, and I'm not about to be a part of that. So I also want to make that clear for people. I would never take part in that. So
yes, but I mean, I triple down. Black women should be loved and they should be respected, and they need to be protected. Like that, and black love is the most beautiful love that there can be when it's done correctly. Like that is true, because it's the thing is, two black people who understand what it's like to be in America, growing up in the same systematic like fucked up shit. There's a different type of connection that is just gonna be there, you know, and that is just what it is. That's not going to go anywhere. That doesn't make me love you any less. That doesn't make me feel any indifferent about being with a white woman. It's just what it was. When I met you, I wasn't looking for anything. It just happened.
Yeah. I also feel like there's a level of comfortability for you to be able to say that, where I'm like, we've talked about this multiple times. This is not news to me.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm completely aware of that. But I also appreciate that, because I'm not going to be a part of any relationship where a man like has insecurities about his own culture, his own people. Like, fuck that. I'm not taking part in that. So.
Did we veer off your question a little bit?
A lot, but that's kind of how I was hoping this would go, because this is exactly what I want this to be. So, and also I only have a couple questions, so I like assumed this was gonna happen. When we started dating, what did I do that made you feel like you could see a future with me?
I wouldn't even say it was like more of a right away type of thing, because it's a pretty good question, because I feel like that's a good question for a lot of women, honestly, just like a general question.
Yeah, because it's important to us.
I feel like the thing that stood out is just like, it's a time thing, and then it's a feeling. Like you have to.
Okay, so like initially, why were you attracted to me? Maybe you couldn't see a future with me, but what was like, because clearly you were stuck on me a little bit. There was a reason why you were like wanting to continue talking. And then like once we were like in it, time has passed where you were like, oh wait, I actually want to make this person my wife. Like those two
I feel like that's definitely going to vary with each band, especially with how they were.
Well, this is just for you and me.
For you and me, I think it was just because of what I've always envisioned like my person to be, and how they went about life. As much as you are like, I don't want to say aggressive, because I feel like that's too much. That's a strong word. I don't want to say that, but it's like adamant. You know, you have this adamant nature about like, I want things done this way, but it's also like very nurturing and very caring. Honestly, like that's probably one of the biggest things that we have to work on, is like you're very caring with a whole bunch of other people that you probably shouldn't be.
I'm in therapy.
Working on it. But I think it's that same thing where it's like, that is what makes a home, in my opinion, you know? And when I saw that with you, it's like, I can see that working. But the thing is with me understanding that, there's a lot of things I have to change about myself for that to work.
Yeah, because you don't just get nurturing Lydia for no reason.
Yeah, but it's like, well, no man should be able to get anything nurturing if you're not in a position or in a headspace to be willing to accept that or understand what that comes with, you know? And it is challenging to change all of my habits to be welcoming to that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's really what it was. It's like, I see you do these things, and that makes me want to change myself, you know? And I think that was the biggest, just general, just man things, like general, like.
No, I mean like me, like what was I doing? Because that kind of goes into another question, which we'll get there, but like, you're saying I was doing things to make you want to change, but it's like, what were those things, like maybe in the beginning, and then also as our relationship has grown? Because obviously, we know each other so well, we're in tandem, like there's lots of things that, you know, it's like we just know each other so well, but like in the beginning, like you're like we're trying to get to know each other and stuff like that. We don't really know each other, you know what I mean? So like, what was I doing that made you feel like that's something that you wanted to continue being with me, like explore that?
feel like it's specific, but it's broad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
well, like if you can just remember one thing where you're like,
it's no, like it's not an action. It's just it's a who you are type of thing. It's like I can't just say, oh yeah, you.
but you're big on actions,
But I'm
not words. So I feel like I must have been doing things
but it's
to make you feel that way.
doing things that's showing up repeatedly. Like if you're constantly showing me that you show up, you're constantly showing me that you listen, that you like not listen to me, but just like listen in general to the conversation. You're actually open about who I am and what I've been through. But it's like also, to be fair, it's not, that doesn't mean you have to accept every single thing that I'm doing, because if I'm a piece of shit doing bad things to you, you shouldn't have to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just the consistency of what you did. And there were times where I could tell you didn't want to do something and you still did. And it's like, those are the type of things that I notice. And those are the things where it's like, damn, okay.
And so when you say you noticed I didn't want to do something, but I still did it, do you feel like that was like, obviously I must have not made it feel like I was dragging my feet and annoyed about it then if you appreciated it, because I'm sure if I was like, fuck this, but whatever, I'm doing it, I'm sure you probably would have had a bad feel, like that leaves a bad feeling. So
not necessarily. I feel like, I mean, in a general sense, I feel like every man is like, yeah, oh, she doesn't. But at the same time, that's what being there with somebody is. It's like you show up when you don't want to. Like that doesn't have to be a bad connotation. I feel like a lot of married people can be like, I don't want to do this shit today, but they still do.
Well, I mean, I can feel that you in the same way, but you never make me feel bad about it, where it's like, hey, I'll randomly be like, I want cheese from the store, and I can tell you do not want to go to the store in that moment. But I've had experiences with people where like it literally felt like they hated me, like they just did not like me. Like they might still do it, but they were like so aggravated to the point where now it's ruined the mood for the next 3 days that I wish I never asked you to do anything for me, because now I feel like you're punishing me for it. You've never done that to me. And so I feel like, yeah, there's a level of like we can tell when the other one doesn't want to necessarily really want to do it. But I feel like you've said to me before even like that I do things for you, but I do it because I love you, and I don't make you feel like I'm just doing it because I do it for everybody and that I want attention. Like,
well,
almost.
yeah, and I feel like I've had relationships in the past where it's like, I feel like that is a big thing, for sure. It's like people will do things not for you, but they'll do it to say that they're doing it for you, if that makes sense.
Like, they'll bring that up later.
Not even that they'll bring it up, but it's just like, it feels, for them, it's just like, yeah, I do these things for you. You know, they're doing it because they want to know that they're doing it for you. It's like they would do that. They would just do that. I don't know how to actually explain that. But I mean, the general sense is you would do things for me, and it doesn't feel like you're doing it just to say that you are doing it. You know, you're just doing it because you want to
do it.
Yeah.
I understand that. I mean, even when I was doing your laundry when your shit was broke and I was taking it to my dad's and doing laundry, my dad was like, you're doing a man's laundry. Like, it's not something I don't just do it for, I just don't do that shit for anyone. Because I'm not like, that's something that I was aware for a long time that I have that in me, but I also have like a huge aversion to men. So I don't just like, I don't just give that side of me to everybody. So I'm sure maybe you could feel that like sincerity of like, I am doing this for you specifically. And like, I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for just anyone. What is I know it's like hard because this is another general but specific question. So it's just kind of like however this resonates with you, but what's the biggest or like most important lesson that you feel like you've learned throughout our relationship? Or something that you just comes to mind?
Really is I can't like, compromise is probably one of the biggest things when it comes to relationships.
I like to call it collaboration.
Yeah, whatever. But I feel like that is like that's a very strong point. And I always grew up on my way or the highway, you know, like, and
I grew up with a lot of men like that in my family.
Yeah. I mean, well, I feel like that's a men's way of life in general. Like we kind of inherit that.
Well, I mean, I remember making it pretty clear, like when we started dating officially, I told you, I was like, I don't want to feel like a background character. It's like that's like the best way I can explain it on a woman's perspective, where a man won't change his life for a woman. She's just a part of it. Whereas a woman will change her entire life for a man, especially when it comes to marriage and having kids. It's like a man won't adjust anything about his life, but it's like women have been saying like, oh, I could get a lot done too if I had a wife at home. It's like a wife really supports a man in a way where like, yeah, he may have a great career, he's doing all these things, but it's like a wife is usually behind that. And she's,
no, 100%.
yeah, and so for me, I kind of was aware of that. I saw that, and so for me, I kind of was aware of that. I saw that, and how that went in my household. It didn't go very great. So I just kind of was like, I'm not going to be a background character.
Well, I mean, and again, like that's devil's advocate for this. It's like there are some super A-type men who are like nothing but career. You know, there's a lot of
that is true.
There's a lot of relationships like that, and sometimes it does work that way. Some people can work where the wife is just kind of like there. But I also know myself where it's like
behind closed doors, she probably doesn't feel like she's just there. It's probably like a more of a personality thing where someone's more extroverted and someone's more introverted.
Yeah.
When it naturally happens like that, that's fine. But I'm sure if it's genuinely working and not just in the public eye, behind closed doors, she's probably getting a lot of love and care.
And I can, and that's what, I can't speak on a woman's perspective. You know, I can only speak on visually what I see. But the big thing is I know that I didn't want a wife who was just kind of like there. You know, I wanted an active wife. I don't necessarily think that I would prefer you, in the long run, not to have to go to work. You know, if you chose to like want to do something, then I would all be for it. But I would still like my partner active in like my decision making. I love opinions and advice. And so that's when I had to really sit down and think of myself, was like, okay, well, I'm asking.
You're saying you want one thing, but then I'm trying to give it to you, and sometimes it would cause aversion a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like I have to actually understand what do I want? You know, what is it? What do I desire for the whole picture? And so it's like, say the question again so I can answer it right.
What's the biggest / most important lesson you've learned through our relationship?
Okay, yeah. And so in that circumstance, it's like I can't say I want a super active person, but then have you be docile. You know, and so I had to learn to really like find out, how do I get that thing that I actually desire. And so I had to really learn, I'm trying to figure out the right words to say it. It's like that was the lesson of learning of how to adjust what I wanted versus what was happening, because you were giving me what I wanted, but it was like, why is it that if you're giving me something I want and it's causing aversion, like you say, why is that? It's like, then that means I need to adjust.
Do you feel like I communicated that clearly?
No.
Like when I was bothered?
Not necessarily. I feel like learning each other is like, just learning how each one another communicates is something
takes trial and error.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like I had to learn how to adjust to what that was. I had to adjust to how you were feeling, adjusting to what I wanted. And then I eventually just found a good point of where it kind of worked out.
It was working. Yeah. No, I understand that, especially because like I know that I'm not always the most clear person, but I think it's sometimes because I almost just don't understand what's happening, because I think I'm communicating clearly or whatever, and then something happens to where I'm like, okay, clearly I'm not, because your aversion to this is so strong. I must be saying it in a way where I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying, but it's not what I mean. It's clearly not coming across how I really mean it. But also I'm very autistic. I have a problem with tone, and I grew up with a bunch of men. I don't know. It's like, I don't think I'm masculine, honestly, by any means. I feel like a lot of people throw that at me, and aggression and all that kind of stuff, but I actually don't really feel that way at all. So it's just like,
I don't view you as a masculine person, to be honest. I do view you as you are assertive, but I don't view you as masculine at all.
My question, this goes into what I was saying earlier about that like taxi cab theory, about how a lot of men will be with a woman for a long period of time, or even if it's not a long period of time, they're like taking the relationship for what the woman seems to be like very seriously, and the woman sees a future and the man really doesn't, and then all of a sudden, break up, and then the next woman comes along and all of a sudden they get married, they do these things or whatever, and it's like, I feel like, not to step out, because I mean, how people view us is really none of our business, honestly, but I feel like that's applicable for a lot of men, and obviously we're married now, but there was a lot of things in the beginning where I was like, yeah, we need to figure this whole thing out, because right now how we're starting does not feel like it's on the trajectory to that, and that's what I want. So like, let's make sure that this is something we both want and are actually working towards in our actions. And so was it right time, right person, or just like your age, experience? Like, what do you feel like where you were like, okay, actually I am ready to settle down?
Well, I mean, age and experience is always, like, to me, that's probably my biggest factor. But I definitely think that men age differently. Like, you could be a 40-year-old child, like you could be 45.
But that's my point, is that sometimes there's something, because, it's like...
Let me cook. Let me cook.
I just want to clarify what I'm saying, though, so you understand the question better. It's like, you know, you're 30 when I met you or whatever. You're 30. And so it's like, it's not like a shit ton is going to change in the 4 months that you're single and then meet me, right? So it's like, you're 30 and then if a switch flips, or it's like you're just magically, because, you know, that's not that much time. It was a couple of months. It's not like it was like, oh, I've been single for 5 years and now I'm ready to settle down. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like, I feel like men have some sort of switch that flips. And that's
No,
what
I
I'm talking
definitely
about.
think
I'm
it's that. No, I understand the question
okay, I
thoroughly.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, but no, I was just placating off of what you're saying. Like, age and experience definitely does have a factor. It's just you have to be honest with yourself, and you know there are some men who kind of they want to stay young forever. They want to kind of be the bachelor forever. In my opinion, I don't think that's cool. You know, at some point, it's like if you want, it's like working out. Do you want a good body? Then go to the fucking gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you want healthy things? Do you want a lot of money? And it's kind of like what we said earlier. It's like a lot of these successful men are only good because of the woman that they have behind. A lot of these successful men are only good because they have that strong woman behind them. And now, mind you, these women have to be very strong, especially if you're dealing with, like, let's say a Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
You know, these guys, they're married to work. You know, you have a third partner. You're in a polyamorous relationship. It's you and his job, and it's like he's married to that shit.
Yeah.
And so, and I know it's like I would like to be very successful, but I don't want to be that successful. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't think that hinders me from anything. Some people might look at that like, what do you mean by that? Like, some people would love to spend their entire lives like drowning and shit like that, and not me. And so I feel like that was really my switch, is like, where and how do I identify the things that I want in my future?
Mm-hmm.
And
do you feel like I was a part of that mindset? Do you feel like I helped with that mindset?
I feel like
to where you realized you're like, oh, I do need clarity on this.
Well, I feel like who you were and me seeing it, because, you know, you kind of have this idea and output of what you want. And you were showing me that. It's not even kind of, you were showing me that, and it's like, damn, then how do I be ready for something that I've been saying that this is what I would want and this is what would make me do that? I feel like the one thing I said when I was younger, I think when I was like 18 or whatever, I was like, I'll probably end up marrying a woman who understands me more than I understand myself, you know? And with you showing me your understanding, and with you showing that you're showing up and the consistency of things, it was a light switch. It's that was my light switch, where it's like I have to do some things that are a little bit different. And I feel like the first part of the question, where it's like you will be dating somebody and it's like, oh, all of a sudden the next person is it. Sometimes, in my honest opinion, I feel like if you really want to mess with anybody, you can make it work. If you really want to be with somebody, you can make it work if your tails or if your issues are not that separate.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree with that.
Some people want a house and it's hard to find your 10 out of 10 house.
Mm-hmm.
You might find a house that has everything you want, but it doesn't have a patio.
Any realtor will tell you that if you're a first-time home buyer, you're going to need to settle on 75% is amazing.
But
if you can get 75%, that is your home.
And yeah, and I kind of started gearing towards that, where you're not going to find everything that you want right away. And something like, if you buy a house and you're like, damn, I want this perfect house that it doesn't have a patio. Exactly. You can add that later on.
Yeah.
And for me, it took all the experiences from my past, where it's like, sometimes I did fuck some shit up. Sometimes I was at fault. And honestly, men are at fault for a lot of different things. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to be the, what do they call women who cater to men all the time?
Pick me.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that I'm a pick me to women, but to be real, you have to find that commonality or the common ground of, where do I find this, you know? And men are a strong issue of a lot of that, because they're still being boys or not being men.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I feel like you have to understand that being with me, because I talk my shit. So you need to understand systemically how the patriarchy plays a role in society and intimate relationships.
Yes, the patriarchy is a fuck,
You
patriot.
said it. Patriarchy.
Patriot. The patriot is a real thing that has been, especially in the Western civilization,
Yes.
of where, and you know, and that came from white people at the end of the day.
I was gonna say the white man really did
because
that.
A lot of black relationships were very strong, and
But
those
they came
because
in
they
and
had to
wrecked
be.
those homes.
You know, the
Yeah.
black people had to have strong foundations, otherwise they were going to break because they had nothing but each other. But there is a black patriarchy. Why can't I say the last part?
You're saying it right. You're just
Patriarchy.
patriarchy.
Patriarchy. I'm gonna say it like that every time.
It's just when you say it fast, it's patriarchy.
Patriarchy.
Yeah. When you say it fast, it's just patriarchy. You don't really say the R.
The Tom Brady of the whole thing. Yeah, but there's always one in a household. You know, there is one, but it doesn't have to belittle the woman. It doesn't have to belittle your wife to be that way.
Well, I mean, that's why I appreciate it. I mean, my dad's evolved a lot. Like, I've literally seen that. So I think for me, it was really hard growing up because we lived in a patriarchy in a way that, like, we were a conservative Christian white household, and my dad didn't want to hear shit about what my mom had to say, and he invalidated her opinion all of the time. But then now, watching him growing up, he's like, I know you and, like, my brothers love to call me spoiled, but I was not growing up. My dad started spoiling me in my 20s. Like, this is a new...
Keep it up, Pops.
Yeah, this is a new thing for me, and he's changed, and not a lot of women in general, or, like, I mean, people in general, but especially women get to see that with estranged fathers or dads they didn't have good relationships with. Not a lot of women get to say now they have a good relationship with him because my dad apologized. And he also was like, hey, when he found out I was in a domestically violent relationship after he felt awful, like his heart was broken because he understands childhood trauma and the patriarchy and how that plays when you have a daughter. If you give an example, your daughter inevitably is going to date that version of you. And he felt responsible for that. He cried. And I never see my dad cry. He was like, I'm sorry. So even him doing, like, officiating our wedding and saying, you know, like, yeah, submit to, but he put emphasis on submit to each other. It's an equal partnership. And he has completely done, like, a 180 on how he has, like, lived his life. So for me, it's been just a really healing time in my 20s because I feel like as I was healing my relationship with my dad and he was teaching me new ideals. I feel like that's when I met you. So I feel like in tandem with what my dad was teaching me as a better example, I felt like I found a man that was, like, willing to also develop and change. So I feel like I got really blessed in that way where God was really, like, looking out for me in that sense. And I feel like not a lot of women have that healing, and that's, like, not women's fault.
Yeah, any man who is really on that, not listening to their woman, is
You're gay.
woman.
You're gay.
Whatever. I feel like you're missing out on so much of the relationship and opportunity because women, like...
also, we're so much nicer to be around when you listen to us.
That. But it's like a woman's intuition, they say, you know?
My intuition is stronger than
it's very good and it's very helpful, and it helps you move in good ways. I feel like your intuition has helped me in many different ways, you know? And that
I feel like your protection has helped me a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like it helps me make my, you know, because ultimately it's still, I get to choose something at the end of the day. And it's just that whatever your input helps me make these decisions with a more
and I also
foundational mind.
Try not to ever be like, I told you so. I try to give you my 2 cents and let you make your decision, and if things work out, like, I might jokingly or whatever, but at the end of the day, I try not to make you feel a certain type of way because we're all human beings that should be able to make our own decisions. And so I'm always like that with all of my friendships, relationships. So I'll give you my 2 cents, but what you want to do is what you want to do, and I'll be here if you decide to pivot, you know. Mm-hmm. So
but yeah, that was really it. It was just I think for the taxi cab idea, it's a mixture of experience, but also a mixture of openness to willing to change as a man. And at any point that you feel like you are who you are, and that you know your ways are your ways, you've lost as a man. Like you've missed out on all the opportunity. You can't, because if you are who you are, you can't be any better. You're just gonna keep making the same mistakes. It doesn't matter who you deal with. It doesn't matter if you find your dream woman, you're gonna fuck it up. You're going to, because you're stuck on this old version of yourself is, oh, if she doesn't love me for exactly who I am, then it's over with. And a lot of men are like, they're going to stay.
They don't realize the hurt that they cause when they do that. Because us as human beings, we all have things. We gotta, no friendship or relationship works like that, you know? And so I think that some men who have that idea don't realize the pain that you are causing your woman. It's like a deep deep pain.
Well, even on the selfishness of men, because a lot of men they don't care about that. They don't care about the hurting of the woman. Yeah. They fail to realize that they're hurting themselves by not changing. Yeah. They fail to realize that they're not going to have what they want by not changing. You have to change. Life is change. Leaves die, trees grow. You know, like they get cut down and regrow. Like you have to cut yourself down. Like if you don't, you're gonna be you're gonna be this plant right here. you're gonna be withering. You're not watering yourself.
That's what happens when a woman doesn't water plants.
Yeah, but that's what happens when a woman doesn't water her man. If a man refuses his water, if he refuses his food, he's gonna die. He's gonna shrivel up. That's what it's gonna be.
And I mean, like our dad. I mean, yeah, he's our dad. But my dad has counseled us, and that's something he had said. I mean, he was basically like, man, it took until I was 60 something to figure that out. But yeah, my dad was counseling us, and he said the same thing. He was like, it literally was. He was telling us things and giving us a lesson, but he was like, man, I'm 60 something. It took me this long to figure it out. And my parents are no longer together. And he was basically saying, that's why we're not together. And my mom has done some heinous shit. Obviously, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but my mom did some heinous shit, but my dad still takes full responsibility for it because he sees why he drove a woman to be at that point.
I think that's a personality trait. I feel like some men refuse to take responsibility for anything.
Yes, but my dad used to be like that. That's what I'm saying is I've seen, because my dad was 100% that man, and so now he's in his 60s and he's basically looking back on his life. It breaks my heart because he's an amazing dad now, but like that's what he's trying to tell you essentially is like, don't be like me. Like if my daughter is genuinely someone that you want to marry and love for the rest of your life, like don't be like me because you're gonna fuck it up. So, and I mean, he's told me some things myself too. It's not like he wasn't just harping on you. He definitely, I mean, he basically, I was interrupting you too many times. He looked at me. He gave me that look that I got when I was 10 years old and I immediately like knew. So he has things to say to me as well about being a woman and what I can do. But yeah, it's just, change is really important. And I think that was the most important thing to me is like being with someone who, because I am someone who's very fluid. Like I know that I'm not going to be the same person. And I knew that wasn't just like a being young thing. Like I knew that, yeah, I'm going to change a lot because I'm young, but at the same time, I know that this isn't just because I'm in my 20s. Like this is going to be me until I die. Like I'm going to constantly be a new person. So for me, it was really important finding someone that would grow with me and not grow apart. So.
Yeah. So again, it's just, I don't think a man just like, it is a flip switch, but it's like, you have to be willing to turn that leaf. And do you think
the finding your person has a lot to do with that, or is that just more about your own mental?
A little bit of both. You definitely have to find somebody who is, it's like we were saying earlier, you want to find your ideal home. You know what your ideal home looks like, and you have to be able to identify that. If you're not able to identify that, you're just going to miss it every single time.
Yeah. And that's also something I was thinking too, because I remember before I met you, I actually sent you a picture too of it. I don't know if you remember, but I was journaling. I was like praying and journaling and stuff, and I was like, I want a man who, I was actually naming the qualities of a man that I want because I didn't want to keep on repeating the same mistake. I mean, you're my third and final serious relationship, but like I was like, I don't want to keep doing this because I see women who are in their late 20s, 30s, 40s who seem to keep on facing the same lesson, which inherently, again, is not a woman's fault, but like at the same time, what decisions and like you have to love yourself enough to know if this is someone who's not like doesn't have your best interests at heart. You have to be able to walk away at the end of the day as a woman. And I had really bad attachment issues, and I was like, I need to let go of this so I don't keep getting hurt and like victimizing myself. And so I was like, okay, what's the step to do that while I'm single? And I was like writing down everything that I wanted from a man, and I remember sending that to you, and I felt like I prayed so hard for that, and then God, I feel like almost was like, are you really ready for that though? And like sometimes you can wish for your blessings so fast that when you actually have to like step back and be like, am I ready for that? And I feel like God put us in each other's lives, and I think we both like had that experience. I mean, maybe you wouldn't name it exactly like that, but I feel like we both were kind of like had to be like, whoa, like, yeah, I said I wanted a husband and a wife. I said I wanted a family. I said I wanted this and that. I said I wanted a partner who X, Y, and Z, but like, are we actually ready for that? Because I feel like we were both mentally at a point where we still had some toxic traits from past situations and how we grew up, that like if we kept on allowing that to rule our life and rule our actions, we would have ended up having a, relationship end just like all the other ones. And so I feel like there was a good time that we kind of took a hiatus before we really genuinely took each other seriously, because I feel like we really needed that. And I think God protected us from the beginning in a way that we just didn't even know. So what's something that you've had to let go of?
Shit, really, if anything, I had to let go of my past. That's the biggest step is you don't have to forget anything. Um, but honestly, if I can't forgive my past or if I can't move past my
That's really
past,
deep. That's true.
then I'm stuck there. You can't move forward looking backward. Imagine driving on a freeway looking in your rearview mirror the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
You're destined to crash. Like you have to move on from that stuff.
You do.
Whether it be like it doesn't just be. It's not limited to pain. It's not limited to hurt. All the things that made me feel good in the past, I also have to let go of because it's no longer there.
It doesn't serve you.
Yeah, like that's gone. And so I think that was really the strongest thing, where it's like all these things that I've been through, all these things that I feel. And again, it's not like I just did it. It's not like that's something you have to continuously remind yourself every day. Because think,
Yeah.
we've been married for fucking a couple weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a time where we're 10 years down the road, we're gonna have to let go of some things where we've been through with one another. Like
for sure.
we have to let go of these things because now this is a different step. Whether
we're
it
new
be
people.
there's, and that's what I mean by, like earlier, like a man has to be able to change. You have to be different than what you were. Like you just have to.
And I feel like I talk to Lorraine about this a lot too, is that like in past relationships when a man is treating you so horrible, I feel like there's toxic tendencies that women do reactively. And I feel like you changing and letting go of your past, I feel like there's a lot of things that I'm in therapy for it, that I actively work through in therapy because I don't want it to affect you. But your current partner should not have to pay for the sins of your last ones. And I feel like you lead in certain type of ways, and like, yeah, I may have done things to make you feel like, oh, this is something I could change or like reflect on. You do the same thing for me, where it's like, oh, you're not doing X, Y, and Z that men typically do, so I can't do X, Y, Z, because I felt justified in the past because it was like compared to getting beat or cheated on or like whatever. I'm like, I don't feel bad about doing that to you or like saying or acting this way because you deserve it. And it's like, obviously that's not healthy, which is why in the end I would always leave. But it's like, because you don't want to reach a version of yourself that you can't go back from. And I think that's something that I understood then too. So there, I had a point, but like at the same time, I feel like with you, there's certain things where I feel like I've gotten better for sure. But like, especially as you were changing actively, I think I almost didn't expect it, because it just, from men, it's like really hard to expect that from men. So I think as you were changing and genuinely treating me differently, there was definitely times where I had to reflect on myself and be like, it's really easy for me to be passive aggressive. It's really easy for me to like go into myself and go nonverbal and silent in a mean way, not just like a, hey, I'm just like nonverbal right now, but like in a way that's like almost like punishment for other people around me. Like there's things that I do that I never had to reflect on in the past because of the horrible conditions I was in and putting myself in and stuff. And so there's definitely things where I'm like, shit, I can't do that. I need to not be like this. I need to work on my communication as well. And that's why I started therapy ultimately, is because I was like, I wanted to be a better person for myself, because I put it in our vows where you saw things about me where I was already ashamed of, but it's because of like reading the four agreements or whatever, where other people put that onto you, and now that's like a part of your internal monologue of how you view yourself. And so I feel like I had kept on running into that, to where I was kind of, there were already parts of me that had changed for the worse that I was kind of like relying on to protect me. And so as you were changing, I felt like those no longer served me, and I don't need that. And so that's ultimately kind of what ensued me to go into therapy, because I was like, I care about this relationship too much to continue these bad habits and these poor coping mechanisms. And so I think that a lot of women need to realize that too, because yes, there's a level of like, I do like the idea of men just being with a woman that can be kind of crazy and out there, and not crazy like rude or disrespectful. I just mean like, we have hormones. We have a 30-day cycle of hormone. You guys have 24-hour. You guys are renewed every day. We are not. I have periods. Women go through things where I feel like they're allowed to be a little bit emotional, and that I feel like men should kind of have space and stuff like that. But you give me space for that level.
Women are emotional creatures.
Yes, you give me space for that. You don't make me feel bad, so there's no need for me to take it to the extra level of like, you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile. Like, I don't need to do that. I can just be gracious with the steadfastness that you give me and comfortability, and it can make me feel safe to apologize or reflect and like calm down and just things like that. So
I feel like especially with a lot of black men these days, a lot of us are raised only by women. I feel like one of my biggest challenges, honestly, is straight up I was a little too emotional in many aspects, and even I feel like I'm way better now. And you got to think it took me a long time. Like it was something I was working on even prior to meeting you. It's like
Mm.
I understand some things I shouldn't be that emotional about, and even like shit down to my girl. I mean, not the girl, down to my dog. My dog was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had my mom, my sister, my grandmother. Like those were all the people who were immediately around me. My aunties, and my aunties didn't have husbands.
And I'm the opposite. I have 3 brothers. My dad was the most prominent figure. I'm the opposite. So we had some things to like.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where, I mean, well, like I said, it was even prior to meeting you, but it's like, I feel like as a man, you can't be emotional when your woman is being
You don't get
emotional.
to be hormonal. I have the hormones.
And so I have to, it's one of those, it's some men who have both parents, they know that.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I grew
Well,
up
for
not understanding
anyone, they have that secure attachment style growing up. If you had a secure attachment style growing up, I'm jealous.
that. Yeah. But yeah, for any man or any person who had both their parents, they kind of understand that already. It's something for me I had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something, again, that's one of those things I had to kind of change.
I had to go to therapy because I feel like, I'm not going to say they're masculine traits because I feel like even when I portray quote unquote masculine traits, I'm still very feminine about it. But like my silent treatment, nonverbal, came from my dad,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, if I don't feel protected to like speak my mind, then it almost does become a punishment of like, well, you don't get to see or hear anything from my mind actually. And so yeah, there's definitely, and then like I can be aggressive. Like there's times where I can be aggressive, especially in like I try to de-escalate arguments as best as I can, but like for me that's like an active, like I am proactively going against my initial instinct and I'm aware of that. That's why I get so calm when if it's someone I care about. If I don't care about you, I'm not going to be calm. But like if I care about you, I try to be really, really, really calm, which I know that at first that made you feel like I was kind of being condescending in a way, but that was me trying to not lose my shit. Like, and trying to de-escalate, because if someone's already up there, there's no need for both of us to be up there. But once I reach that point, I can get really fucking aggressive. I mean, I used to put my hands on men. So like there was there was some things, I also had to work on and change because you're like this where you're like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to go back and forth. Like, are we going to fight or what? And I have that same mentality. And so it's like, that's not very helpful just in general. That's not helpful no matter what gender you are, but especially like as a woman in a relationship, like there's a level of, you're not my brother. I can't just start like, it's not the same thing. So I feel like I definitely had to unlearn a lot of that too. Just being raised by my 3 brothers. If we had an issue, we just started tussling. So
Yeah.
just used to beat the shit out of little boys growing up. I wasn't very good with my words for a very long time, so I had to work on that myself as well. So I just asked what's something you let go of, but the last question I have is what's something you've gained?
A lifelong partner. If anything, I've gained a bit more confidence, to be honest.
That's sweet. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I've definitely gained a bit more confidence. And
that's hilarious because I feel like you're already so confident before.
Yeah. I've also gained somewhat more of an, not urgency is not the word, but it's like
Decisiveness?
I've gained decisiveness, but I'm in a point where it's like I want to do things to where I don't fail. Like I don't want to. It's like challenging myself.
I see what you mean. That's healthy. That's good.
And
you do that for me too.
yeah, and it's not just me, and so failing feels as if I'm letting you down, or whatever the future may also, entail down.
I do think about our future kids a lot.
And that's one thing that matters to me a lot. I don't want to upset whatever that is when that comes.
I understand that. I think for me, it's almost like, I think with men that aren't very manly, I feel like that's something I really appreciate about you is you let me be soft, and like even me not having a 9-to-5 job, like I'm an agent, so I'm not going to say like I am unemployed, but at the same time I'm like not, I'm just trying to be an entrepreneur, which is fucking hard, but I never had the confidence to even try before being with you. And again, it's not like, oh, I'm doing this for you or just 100% because of you, but it's because you believe in me and you love me. And so that's, again, part of the vows of where I was saying, like, those things that I felt ashamed of before, like, you bring to light and you love those parts of me. And I think it made me reflect and make me feel lovable in a way that I had never felt in the past. And like, and that stems even from before my adult relationships, but just being a kid and what I got bullied for. Because like boys would always bully me for being taller and bigger than them, or like outspoken, loud, aggressive, like all of those things. And so I felt like you saw those things in me, and again, you're not calling me aggressive, you're calling me assertive. Like those are things you admired about me, and I was like, it made me feel less insecure. And then it made me feel like, I mean, even when we talked, I was like, look, I feel like you want some like entrepreneur, business oriented, savvy woman, and I'm like really not that. And you're like, well, that's like peanut butter and jelly, like we have to balance each other out. But you also told me, I actually do think you are like that though. I do think you have that in you. And I feel like even being an agent, I quit a lot of things before I even really give myself the chance, because I'm such a perfectionist, and there was a lot of people that would scrutinize me and be so quick to point out my downfalls and my failures, that it made me feel like I had to keep up like this idea of perfection, because I didn't want people to watch me slip or like catch me on a down moment. And I feel like you did the exact opposite and gave me I think a healthy relationship, which I've learned in therapy even, is one that makes you feel like you're so solid at home that you're excited and ready to go experience the world. Like it makes you not feel trapped or like so emaciated, whatever that word is, that you can't like go out because you have no energy, you're scared to because of your at home life. But it was the opposite for me. Like you empower me, you make me feel excited to go try things and do things. Like you're in my corner. I feel like anything I want to do, you're like, facts, let's do it. Like you're 100% behind me. And I feel like having that level of security is something I haven't really experienced before. So it was like new to me. And then it made me feel like, well, I have a partner that feels this way, so now I don't have any excuse. What's my excuse? It's like now I just have to look at myself. Now I just have to realize and face that I just don't believe in myself. And so like that was something that I had to, like, you hold a mirror up to me in a lot of ways that I think is like really helpful for me. And so yeah, it's just like, but yeah, you like you said, like you're okay with later down the road when we have, like when we're financially stable, family, like if I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, like you would let me do that and you would support me in that as well. But like knowing me, I would not, I would still keep doing my YouTube videos. Like I would still be doing something because like I'm a passionate person. I can't literally just like be in the house. That's not who I am. But you're a giving man, and there's like a level of like, I think some women are so focused on finding men who have the finances to spend, but it's like, a rich man could be doing that to 10 different women. It's nothing to him, So I feel like you're the kind of giving man where it's like, even in our downs and lows, like you always give me 100%, whatever that looks like. And so I know that you've got me and I've got you, and as like you're supporting me while I'm trying to do real estate and stuff, but you also know that once I'm selling houses and I'm getting big bucks, like I'm going to help fund whatever we take turns supporting each other so that we can help each other in that. And so you make me feel like I don't have to be so independent, because there was definitely a time in my life where, especially in relationships, if I wasn't like, it was never like, oh yeah, I'll spot, oh, you're having trouble with a bill, I'll give you 100, but you need to pay me back 2 weeks later. Like it was never, you have never singularly asked me that ever. I'm like, here you go. Like you're just, and I felt like that's how I am. So I'm like, I appreciate that, because I feel like you do genuinely want to take care of me, and I've never experienced that before. Because like even with my dad growing up, he was not like that. If I asked him anything, no. It was always no, 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 no.
What's my favorite word? No.
Yeah, exactly. And my siblings will say the same thing too. But now, just, yeah, that level, I don't know, it makes me, I feel like there's a lot of buzzwords in pop culture of women being like, oh, be soft, be in your feminine era, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, roll my eyes, what the fuck ever. Like, it's just like buzzwords. But I feel like being in this relationship has genuinely actually shown me what it means to be able to be feminine and soft and like not have to worry about certain things. I don't feel like I have to compensate if I feel like I'm lacking. Like I don't feel like I have to overcompensate and like work myself to the fucking bone. I feel like I'm allowed to be creative and figure things out. So I appreciate that.
Is it?
Yeah, that's all I have. You want to say anything?
I'm the shit. I'm tall. I'm dark. Handsome. I feel like I won.
I feel like I did too. Anyways, thanks for watching. I don't really have an outro, but my socials, and I guess I'll link yours too, will be down below and at the end of this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!